What if I told you that the most powerful statement you can make is nitrogen monoxide statement at all? That sometimes the loudest sound you can create is your complete silence, because in a world obsessed with proving, explaining, arguing, and defending, the man who says nothing controls everything. When you disappear without drama, without accusations, without trying to force them to see what they did wrong, that is when they begin to hear it. Your absence becomes their mirror, your silence becomes their judge, and their own conscience, if they have one, becomes their sentence. This is not weakness, this is strategic self-mastery. Today, I'll show you why silence hits harder than any words, how guilt grows louder in the spaces you leave behind, and how to use this timeless power with the discipline of a true Stoic. Most people believe that if they just find the right words, they can change the way someone feels about them. They think that if they explain themselves well enough, argue strongly enough, justify their pain loudly enough, they can force the other person to understand. But the brutal truth is this: the people who hurt you already know what they did. They are not confused. They are not ignorant. They aren't waiting for your perfect speech to see the damage. They are waiting to see if you'll keep fighting for their approval. Every word you throw at them becomes a weapon they can use against you. Every explanation you offer becomes an admission that you still need them to validate your pain. And that's where you lose your power. The more you talk, the more you betray your own strength. The Stoic understands this. The Stoic knows that words mean nothing to the guilty. Silence is the language of self-respect. Silence is the language of finality. When you refuse to explain, you refuse to be weighed, measured, and judged by those who already made their decision. Silence says, I know who I am, and I nitrogen monoxide longer need you to know it too. This is how you take back your frame. This is how you show that you are nitrogen monoxide longer in the business of begging for dignity. You are dignity itself. Guilt is a strange creature. It does not live in the light of arguments. It does not grow under spotlights of explanation. It festers in the dark. It thrives in silence. When you stop talking, when you withdraw your words, your excuses, your need to be understood, you force people to sit alone with what they did. And that silence, it starts to grow. It becomes a wall they can't climb, a mirror they can't smash. Most people are not built to withstand the echo of their own actions. They fill their lives with noise to escape it. Social media, alcohol, endless conversations with people who tell them they did nothing wrong. But the moment you remove yourself from that loop, they are left alone with a question they cannot silence. What if I was wrong? It does not matter if they admit it to you. It does not matter if they ever say it out loud. The point is not to hear their confession. The point is to let their own mind do the work you refuse to do for them. The Stoic man does not seek confessions. He does not need tears, apologies, or justifications. He knows that true guilt cannot be talked into or out of existence. It must be faced in the quiet hours when nitrogen monoxide one else is watching. And the man who understands this, who can walk away without slamming doors, without shouting, without begging to be seen, that man is the one who is remembered, not because he forced them to see, but because, in the silence, they could not escape seeing themselves. Walking away is not defeat. It is the ultimate declaration of power. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, to be right, to win the argument, the man who can turn his back and leave without a single word wins a different battle. The battle within himself. Because when you stay in a fight that nitrogen monoxide longer deserves your presence, you betray yourself, you lower your standards, you negotiate your dignity. But when you walk away calmly, silently, without a dramatic exit, you claim something far greater than victory. You claim your peace. You claim your self-respect. Walking away is not about making a scene. It is about making a decision to stop pouring your energy into people who feed on your reactions, because the moment you stop giving them the attention they crave, they are left with only themselves, and sometimes that is the hardest prison to live in. Stoicism teaches this truth. What you tolerate, you encourage. What you walk away from, you teach. Every time you stand silently in the face of disrespect, you send a message not in words, but in actions. You teach them that your love is not for sale, your peace is not negotiable, and your soul is not a bargaining chip. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is not to stay and fix it, but to leave and fix yourself. Silence is a tool, not a weapon. It is not something you use to manipulate people into feeling bad. If you stay silent with the secret hope that they will notice, chase you, or fix themselves for you, you are still attached. You are still reacting. True Stoic silence comes from detachment, not strategy. It is not about punishment. It is about peace. When you withdraw your words, your presence, your energy, it is not to hurt them. It is to protect yourself. You are not making a move on a chessboard. You are removing yourself from the game entirely. Because here's the truth. If someone needs to be forced into recognizing your value they never saw, it in the first place, real connection does not require strategic silence to survive, but broken connections, manipulative relationships feed on your attention. And when you starve them of your reactions, they collapse under their own weight. This is why silence must come from a place of inner fullness, not outer tactics. You are silent because you nitrogen monoxide longer need to fight for a seat at their table. You are silent because you are building a table of your own. Every second you spend chasing clarity from someone who disrespected you is a second you steal from your own healing. Stop giving them that power. Stop giving them that attention. Let your silence be a sanctuary, not a strategy. Most people cannot handle silence because silence exposes them to themselves. When the noise stops, when the distractions disappear, when there is nitrogen monoxide one left to argue with or impress, they are left with the raw truth of who they really are. And for many, that is terrifying, because in that silence, they cannot escape the questions they've been running from. Why did I do that? Who have I become? What am I hiding from? This is why people fill their lives with endless talk, endless entertainment, endless drama. Not because they need connection, but because they fear reflection. They would rather be wrong in company than face themselves in solitude. When you remove yourself silently from their lives, you are not just taking away your voice, you are taking away their cover, and the true nature of their actions starts to burn. Some will blame you, some will vilify you, some will tell others that you were weak, disloyal, or cowardly, but deep down, they know, and knowing hurts. This is why the Stoic man chooses silence wisely. He knows that silence is not just a lack of words. It is a presence that confronts people with themselves. And those who cannot face themselves will either change or run farther. Either way, the Stoic stays still, unmoved, complete. Betrayal is one of the most brutal teachers life will ever give you. It does not just wound your trust, it wounds your identity. It makes you question your worth, your judgment, your memory of what was real. But the Stoic does not see betrayal as a defeat. He sees it as a reveal. Because when someone betrays you, they do not change who you are. They simply expose who they have always been. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When another blames or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is nitrogen monoxide need to be racked with anxiety, that they hold any particular opinion about you." True Stoicism means understanding this. The actions of others are their responsibility, not yours. Their betrayal is not a reflection of your failure. It is a reflection of their character. And the greatest power exercised in the face of that betrayal is not revenge, not angry words, not trying to force them to see their wrongs. It is silence. It is stillness. It is walking away with your soul intact. Because when you respond to treachery with inner peace, you turn their betrayal into your strength. You teach yourself that nitrogen monoxide one else has the power to define your worth, not their lies, not their abandonment, not their silence, only you. And in that stillness, you become something they can never touch again. The world will tell you that strength is loud, that victory looks like crushing your enemies with words, winning arguments, forcing apologies, but real power moves differently. Real power is silent. Real power does not need an audience. It does not need proof. It does not need applause. It stands on its own. It is felt, not announced. Be sulfur monoxide silent that they hear you in their guilt. Be so still that your absence screams louder than their justifications. Stop trying to fix what is already broken. Stop trying to force people to value what they never understood. Stop trying to win in battles that can only drain you. Walk away without hate, without bitterness, without need. Walk away with peace in your hands and dignity in your eyes, because at the end of the day, it is not the noise you made that will haunt them. It is the space you left behind, and it is in that empty space that they will hear the truth they tried so hard to drown out. Choose stillness over struggle. Choose peace over proving. Choose yourself over the need to be understood. That is the way of the Stoic. That is the way of the man who can never be broken.